Welcome to Middle Math Academy's Integers, Opposites, and Absolute Value level number 3. This is part of our differentiated series where we have 5 levels of challenge for every topic. Let's get started. Our learning targets today are I can use keywords to write integers involving elevation, money, and temperature. I can explain the difference between opposites and absolute value. Before we get started, rate yourself on these learning targets. 1 is the least confident, and 5 is the Our opening says number the number line -5 to 5. So you can see in the middle of our number line, we have 0. To the right of 0 are our positive numbers. So to the right of 0, we're just going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you're writing this down. And to the left of 0 are our negative numbers. So the first. Let's get started with some notes. Our first note today, and make sure you're writing with me, are integers are positive or negative whole numbers. So 6, -8, 12, those are all integers. Now, elevation is the distance above or below sea level. So if you're scuba diving, you are below sea level. So let's talk about some more key words for positive and negative numbers, but also for 0. So let's start with 0. If you are at sea level, we consider that 0. Make sure you're writing this. In terms of temperature, 0 degrees. And then par is in golf. In case you haven't played golf, you might see questions like this. Par is 0. So now let's focus on elevation first, under negative. Some keywords for elevation that are negative are below sea level and descending, going down. Elevation positive keywords are above sea level and ascending, going up. Remember, you can always pause the video if you need more time. When we talk about money, withdrawals, that's taking money out, a signal for negatives. Loss, owe, and debt are all keywords for negative numbers. On the positive end, we have deposit. I always remember that I can almost see the word positive in deposit. Putting money in your account, gaining money, and profit. Those are all keywords for positive numbers associated with money. And then for temperature, we have decrease or going down, below 0 degrees. And positive temperature keywords are increase and above 0 degrees. Pause the video if you need more time, and then we'll do a few examples. At the bottom of page 1, it says write an integer to describe each situation and underline keywords. I'll do the first one with you, and then you can practice the rest on your own. Example A says a person climbing a mountain 13 feet below sea level. Okay, so I know below sea level is a signal for negative numbers. And since we're talking about 13, it will be -13. Complete B through F on your own, then come back to the video. A person at sea level is 0. A person descending underground 24 feet below sea level, that's also negative, so -24. A loss of 15. Owing $100, a lot of negative numbers here. And then example F, you should have the temperature increase 21 degrees. Increases our keyword, and that represents positive 21. If your teacher wants you to, go ahead and get their initials for completing page 1, then come back to the video for page 2. Page number 2 is extremely similar to page 1, so you're going to complete this page on your own. Once you finish this page, go ahead and, if your teacher wants you to, get their initials. Take a look at the top of page 3. Make sure you're writing down these notes with me. Negative numbers are to the left of 0 on a horizontal number line or below 0 on a vertical number line. Positive numbers are to the right of 0 or above 0 on a vertical number line. The more negative a number, the less it is. So the easiest way I think to think about this is like owing money. So you have less money if you owe someone $100 versus owing them $1. Negative 100 is less than negative 1. Negative 50 is less than negative 10, because if you're in debt $50, you owe more money than if you just owed $10. Our next note is plotting a point on a number line. If you ever hear that, it just means putting a dot on the number line. And then distance is always positive. For example, if I was going on a 5-mile run south, I would never say I went on a negative 5-mile run. So distance is always positive. Let's take a look at page 3, example A. It says plot negative 10 and 1 on the number line. What is the distance between the 2 points? Well, plotting 2 numbers just means putting a dot at them. So let's do that first. I'm going to put a dot right on the line at negative 10 and at 1. Then I'm going to determine the distance by making really neat loops, one loop between each number. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the distance between these 2 points is 11. Go ahead and complete B, C, and D on your own, then come back to the video. I'm not going to go over C and D, but I will go over problem B. For B, you should have plotted negative 5 and 4. And when you did your loops, these are 9 spaces apart. And hopefully yours are a little bit neater than mine, but you should have gotten 9. For problem E, now we have a vertical number line. Go ahead and try this one on your own, then come back to the video. On this one, I'll zoom in a little bit. You should have plotted negative 1, which is below 0, and positive 1 above 0. And these are 2 spaces apart. So the distance here is 2. Go ahead and complete the rest of this page on your own. And then if your teacher wants you to, check in with them. Let's take a look at the notes at the top of page 4. 2 numbers are considered opposites if they are the same distance from 0 on a number line. They're just on opposite sides. So for example, 5 and negative 5 are opposites because they're both 5 units from 0. Make sure you're writing with me. It says blank and negative 2 are opposites. Well, 2 and negative 2 are opposites because they're both 2 units from 0. And I want you to fill this in on the number line to the right as well. So if we have negative 2 and 2, we can see that 2 is 2 spaces from 0, and negative 2 is 2 spaces from 0. They are opposites. And then our last note, 3 and negative 3 are opposites because they're both 3 units from 0. So in this section below, you're going to write the opposite of each number. So if it said 7 here, okay, yours says something different. But if it did, then I would write negative 7 as the opposite. So opposites can be positive or negative. They are the same distance apart from 0. This video will not go over all of the answers on this page, but to make sure you're on the right track, I'll go over the answers in the second column. You should have gotten 36, 3.9, negative 7.4, negative 201, and positive 87. Go ahead and complete the rest of this page on your own, then check in with your teacher. Let's take a look at the notes at the top of page 5. Absolute value means distance from 0 and is represented by these 2 lines. Absolute value is always positive. So an example is the absolute value of negative 8 is 8. The absolute value of 15 is 15. So if we look at these examples down here, it says the absolute value of negative 3.3 7/10. Well, I know absolute value is always positive, so it would be 3 7/10. So absolute value just cares about distance from 0. It doesn't care if it's on the left or the right of 0. The absolute value of negative 5.5 is 5.5. So all of your answers are going to be positive with absolute value. Go ahead and complete the rest of these, then come back to the video. This next section says, in each problem below, underline the number that has the greater value. So I'll just do 2 examples with you and then have you complete the rest on your own. So it says the absolute value of 9, which is 9, and the absolute value of negative 7, which is 7. So anytime these lines are around a number, it makes it positive. Now what's greater, 9 or 7? 9 is greater, so I'll underline 9. You can also circle it if that's easier. The last example I'll do with you on this page is this one right here where it says the absolute value of negative 5 or 8. Okay, so this one doesn't have any lines around it, so we're just going to still treat it like 8. And this one does. The absolute value of negative 5 is 5. What's greater, 5 or 8? ATIS. Go ahead and complete the rest of this section, then come back to the video. This last part on page number 5 says order the numbers below from least to greatest. Remember, the more negative a number, the less it is. Okay, so you're going to order these least to greatest, and then go ahead and complete the rest of this page and check in with your teacher. Complete all of page 6, then come back to the video. We're not going to go over all of these, but I will go over common misconception problem A. Nora says that 5 and -2 are 3 units apart. Is Nora correct or incorrect? Explain. So Nora is incorrect. 5 is 5 spaces from 0, and -2 is 2 spaces from 0. 5 and 2 is 7, so they are 7 units apart. And you could always draw a number line to help you too. Now, let's go down to our Venn diagram. Okay, it says you will have one statement in each part of your Venn diagram. Okay, so for absolute value, you should have it's always positive. Remember, we represent it by those lines. For opposites, the statement you should have is it can be positive or negative. An example is 7 and -7 are opposites. And then under both, they both have to do with distance from 0. The last thing you'll do for today is complete our debrief. This is an important part of the lesson. In your own words, what did you learn today? How much effort did you put in during class? 1 is the lowest, 5 is the highest. And then what do you think is a common misconception or a common mistake a student might make with today's topic? Once you finish answering all of page 6, you're going to go back to page 1 and rate yourself after the lesson for our learning targets. Thank you for joining us today at Middle Math Academy, where we practiced integers, opposites, and absolute value level number 3. This is part of our differentiated series where we have 5 levels of challenge for every topic. If you're looking for any additional practice, we also have levels 1 and 2, as well as challenge levels 4 and 5. Have a wonderful day.